Hi there, my friends on YouTube. I'm coming at you today, and we're going to talk about depression. I thought I'd get on here and talk about it. Depression is a mental illness, and quite a few people out there have it. And some people have it, and they hide it underneath a funny face, or underneath, their, they'll cover up their face and they'll hide it among a smile or among a little grin or something like that. And that's not what you need. If you need help, go out and get help for your depression or anxiety or whatever you have. I have depression, I have anxiety. And back in 2002, that's when I started noticing I knew I had something, but I was denying it and not letting the world know. I didn't want the world knowing that I had it, because I thought all these people would hate me and call me evil and sick and need to be put, into one of these mental hospitals and all that stuff. And that's not what it is. You could go, call a 1-800, prevention line that they have out there, which I'll link it below, and you can be anonymous, and they can point you in the right direction. You go to a hospital, emergency room, they'll help you out. They'll give you something, get a psychiatrist, get a counselor. Don't sit there and end your life like Robin Williams did. Robin Williams was a great guy. He did so many good films, and stand-up comedian he was, and he was a lost soul inside himself. He would do comedies, and when he was done, he'd go off stage, go back to his dressing room, and I bet when he shut his door, he was sad. And he'd just break down, because it just wasn't, I don't know if this is what he didn't want to do in life, but he enjoyed doing the things that he did. I was reading a whole bunch of stuff on the internet about him. I read that he had 3 wives, divorced 2 of them. Second wife he was with 19 years. Not sure about the first one. He had 3 kids all together. Daughter, 2 sons. He has trust funds for them. And he also he's in financial, where he has to sell one of his, homes, and he has another one that he, God rest his soul, committed suicide in, and what it is he was unhappy. I read that he didn't want to do some of the films or some of the things he did. He did it because he needed the money. He needed the paycheck. He didn't need it for the drugs. He didn't need it for drinking. He needed it to pay his bills, to pay his mortgage and whatever else he needed it for. And the whole thing is that he was kind, he was sweet, he was nice. That's what we saw on his side. But other celebrities out there said he was a kind, nice, sweet guy. He would help. He helped Christopher Reeves when he went to the hospital when he was injured. And made him laugh, and everything. And he also did a bunch of charities out there. He also did St. Jude's that you see on TV. He was on that. He was active in that. And whatever other charities he did, he was out there. Even though he had depression, he did go in and out of, rehabs and stuff. And the last one, I think he was in July. I think it was July that he was in for a couple days, and then he was interviewed at another point, not too long before he committed suicide. And when he was, they asked him, what would you like to see when you go to heaven? And he says, me in the front row. Me and Elvis and Beethoven, just listening to the beautiful music they make, he says. And then another interview, he was asked if would you use a gun? If you ever had to leave this earth, would you ever use a gun? No, he's afraid of guns. Would you ever, use ice pick to hurt yourself? Maybe. Then they asked him if he ever hang himself. Not sure, but a very good idea. All these little things, and then he would talk to people out there, celebrity or not celebrity that he met, and he hint across that he had depression, he wasn't happy in his life, he had a 3rd marriage he was on, or he was on his 2nd marriage, depending on, what time he was talking to the person, or 1 year and all that. But the whole thing is, you can get help, and he was hinting for help. He would tell people out there, I need the help, but he was hinting across like, I know I have depression. I've been in and out of rehab. I'm sober. Then you got off the bandwagon, had some drinks again, sober again. So things like this means a whole lot to him. So what I'm trying to get at is, if you need help in any way, please get help. Because right now, there's so many teenagers are committing suicide. So many adults are committing suicide, no matter what age you are, he says, and that's not the way to go. What you need to do right now is you need to get yourself together, get into a hospital, get on some meds, get help any way you can, whether it's talking to a doctor, talking to a counselor, going to, a friend that you trust and see if they can help you. There are ways to help. Robin Williams had different ways he could have gotten help. I don't know if his wife was helping him or knew he really was this depressed, but she could have helped him. He hinted across to celebrities, to fans, I'm depressed, I'm unhappy. They could have helped him, point him in the right direction. He did go in, like back in July, I think it was, and then next thing you know, this is what comes to him, of hanging himself, and he shouldn't have did that. He tried cutting himself and his left wrist with a pocket knife, and it didn't work. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, he says he was doing it. I wondered if he cried out for help, and wondered if somebody would have heard him. I understand his wife is home sleeping. That's what should have happened. Because right now, I feel bad that he's gone, because he gave us all this wonderful movies that he did. He did Miss Doubtfire, he he did Aladdin, he did many movies that are, Jumanji. I liked watching that many times. There's just so many movies and war movies and everything that he did that was so wonderful, and he gave us laughter, and he even made us cry. And there's some films that he did not want to do. He admitted he didn't want to do Miss Doubtfire. I read yesterday he didn't want to do Miss Doubtfire. And he also didn't want to, and he was signed on to do Miss Doubtfire too, and he really didn't want to do it. He only did it because he needed the money to pay his bills and to pay his, mortgage. He was that hurting for money. And then he did a TV show. I don't remember the name of it. But he did it, and it only lasted a season. And Michelle Gellar, I guess I forget her whole name. Sarah Michelle Gellar, that's it. She worked with him and said he was a wonderful guy, and it's just that show just wasn't what he wanted to do, but he brought in the paychecks to do what he had to do with the money, and he never he didn't slip, as far as I know, he didn't slip back into drinking, for a while. And then the other stuff that, makes me a little upset is that you have two people, and they have to say, and their celebrities themselves have to say nasty things about him. And the one is Todd Bridges. He said that, he tweeted his very selfish act for not thinking about your family and your fans. He probably was thinking about his family at the time. Well, should I stay for them or should I leave? He wasn't happy, excuse me, he wasn't happy with himself, and that's why he left this earth. He was a lost soul that went to heaven, and he's going to entertain people in heaven. And he didn't have to say this, but I'm so proud of him for apologizing to the world that he said this. So I can forgive him on this, but, we don't know what was going through, because your mind is, when you're mentally drained, mentally depressed, like, you don't want to do anything with yourself. You want to be stuck in your home, laying in bed, watching movies, not interacting with anybody. He was not as social. I'm not that social either. There are times where I don't want to go places, but he had to, because he was in the eyes of the public. And everybody out there knew him, and knew that if he didn't get out there, that he was going to miss out on opportunities. He was out there in the press. He was out there at the Kids' Choice Awards. He was out there at the Academy Awards. He was out there in everything. You would see him, and he'd be happy when he got all his awards, and, and trophies and whatever you call them things, and you bring them home, and he's so good at what he did. I just feel bad he didn't want to do some of these roles, but he did it for the money. He did it for his kids. His kids came priority to him. He so loves his daughters and son, you know. And then there was somebody else that made a comment, and his name is, I have it right here. Sheep Smith called Robin Williams such a coward for taking his own life. He may have been a coward, but he did it because he was hurting, that he didn't think anybody cared. But he didn't understand that the whole world cared about him, that knew him. We as fans cared about him. We cared. We wouldn't be watching movies if we didn't care, Robin Williams. I know, God bless you, you're in heaven, but we did care about you. We cared about everything you did. From the time you woke up in the morning to the first time you filmed something to the end of it, and we have your DVDs or VHSs or, you know, autographs of you, whatever we have of you. We know you, we remember you, and you do the best you did, and you gave us the best time on this earth, and God has you up there, and He's going to take you on, and He's going to make sure that your next life is the greatest, and have no pain, and have nothing go happen to you. You're just a lost soul up there in heaven until you find out what you need and what you want. And like me, I at times thought about, why am I here? But I'm here because I have a son. I have a daughter. I have another son that's artistic. You know, when I was pregnant, I kept hearing, God's up here, the devil's down here, and they were fighting and they were pulling. I had 2 dreams, 2 nights in a row where they were pulling me and pulling me. And then God would say, don't go, don't go, you're needed here. That little baby inside you needs you. He's special, stay. And then the other one would say, no, no, she don't need him, no. She already left 2 kids, no. It doesn't matter that I left 2 kids with their father in Pennsylvania to go move on in my life, as far as I'm going to say, but the whole thing is, they gave me medication to help me with my depression that I could take when I was pregnant. And then after I had my son, and 4.5 years, after I had him, 4.5 years later, found out he's autistic. Doesn't matter. God made me live to be able to take care of this child. And I love this child. And Robin Williams was always there for his kids. And the one thing is, they had this little thing. It was called, it's a gorilla that I saw like 2 different things on. The gorilla's name is Coco. And Coco did a few sign language with Robin Williams. Robin Williams happened to go up to him. All he wanted to do was be tickled. And he did a sign for tickle, and Robin Williams tickled, and they hugged, and they, you know, did all that. Finally, Robin Williams left. Well, and he ended up attached to Robin Williams. And come to find out, a couple days ago, the day he died, they told Coco that Robin Williams died. And the thing that gorilla did is he put his head down, and and his lips were just quivering, and you could see tears. He was sad. He remembered Robin Williams, just like we remember him. He remembered him tickling him. He remembered him being there for him, because he was a gorilla. And I also heard that he may have had Asperger's syndrome, which is part of autism. Now, if he did, we all know what that is like, to have children on the spectrum. You know, and some people said he has bipolar, or he may have both. You know, if he does, we still loved him for who he is. So I just thought I'd come on here and tell you my little opinion, how I felt about him. I mean, he was a great guy. I mean, I loved everything that I saw he was in. He was great. And all his voices and personalities came out, and then toward the end, he didn't have much voice that came out, or much personality, because he was just like not happy, you know. And I don't know, it's just the things that he did. I just think he was a lost soul in himself, and he thinks nobody cared. And not to be mean in this time because of, you know, his wife or anything, but his wife might have, you know, should have, you know, been watching him a little bit closer and realizing there was something more wrong and got him to help. Maybe she did get him help. Maybe she needed to do a little bit more. Maybe she needed to show him a little bit more love. But all her statements, she did love him. After reading all her statements about losing her husband, she did miss him. And his kids are so sad from what they've said. So I'm going to let you all go on this note, as I'm going to post below a 1-800 number. So if you want to call the prevention line if you're thinking about committing suicide, or you're depressed, or you have anxiety. Please call the number, and don't let nobody tell you not to. Don't listen to the voices inside you. I listened to voices and I ignored them. And you know, they're just trying to bring you down, trying to get you to go to the other side. You don't need to. You need to go up there. God needs us, not down here. The devil just wants us on his side. The more on his side, the more he laughs at the God. And no. So we all on here do something good. So, sorry to let you know, and hope you have a good day. Bye.